you think you're thinking freely, that your decisions are yours, that every action, every choice, every move is a product of your will. But the truth? Much of what you think is your idea was planted, without force, without threat, through a more powerful form of control, psychological manipulation. In this video, inspired by Machiavelli's philosophy, we reveal how your mind is shaped without your awareness, and how someone can control your behavior while you smile, believing it's your own choice. Machiavelli said, "The best way to control people is to make them believe they're in control." When people believe the idea is theirs, they never resist. That's the essence of manipulation. Don't impose your opinion. Present it as a suggestion, a buried desire, or a long-awaited insight. Make them feel like they've discovered it themselves. People cling tightly to thoughts they believe are their own.
Let the person see themselves in you. Mirror their tone, words, posture, even gestures. When they feel you're like them, they lower their guard. Trust becomes the gateway to deep influence. This is called behavioral mirroring, and it's proven in social psychology. The more they feel you reflect them, the more they open up. And once they do, you plant your message effortlessly. How you frame an idea is more important than the idea itself. A message can be rejected not because it's wrong, but because it's framed poorly. Presented inside a frame of urgency, excitement, or fear, and the brain accepts it instantly. Example? Don't say, "Do this, it's good for you." Say, "If you don't do this, you'll regret it for life." Emotions overpower logic, and frames shape emotion. Whoever controls the frame controls the reaction.
The more you hear something, the more you believe it. Repetition breeds belief. That's a golden rule of manipulation. The mind confuses repetition with truth, and repeated ideas become perceived facts. One message, told 1,000 different ways, becomes a core belief. That's why political propaganda, advertising, and education rely on saturation. People don't believe what's true, they believe what's repeated. External trigger plus automatic response equals a programmable brain. When the brain links a stimulus to a feeling, it happens without effort. A sad tune, always paired with images of illness. A notification sound paired with social reward. Over time, the trigger creates a conditioned emotion. That's how people become reactive without knowing why. Even social media is built on this. Red dot equals instant attention. Make someone feel unsafe, unworthy, behind. Then offer the solution. Under pressure, the brain craves immediate relief. The manipulator doesn't press to hurt, but to persuade or to sell. Link anxiety to a product, belief, or identity, and you've entered their subconscious. Emotional safety becomes psychological dependency. The most powerful force of compliance? Fear of being excluded. Humans don't want to be outcasts, they want to belong. So social groups, trends, and everyone says so become pressure tools. If someone believes the majority thinks a certain way, they'll doubt themselves. This is the power of conformity, the herd effect. Not because the idea is true, but because everyone keeps repeating it. Words create worlds and rewire perception. Whoever controls the vocabulary controls the narrative. Say, sacrifice for your country instead of die in war. Say, economic reform instead of price increase. Words reshape emotional response. The more language is beautified, the easier the idea travels. Scare people with an external threat, and you unify them under your control. Sometimes a leader creates fear just to play savior.
The enemy doesn't have to be real, just believable. Once people rally against a common threat, they stop questioning who leads them. The enemy becomes a distraction while power consolidates.
Manipulation doesn't start with attack, it starts with affection. The manipulator builds warmth, connection, and care. Once you're inside the comfort zone, programming begins. You never suspect those you like. You lower your defenses for those you trust. And that's when the shift begins, not by force, but by love. We no longer live in an age of information only, but in an age of subtle influence. Every moment, someone is trying to reshape your mind, beliefs, even your identity. Not through force, but through repetition, fear, psychological mirrors, and invisible frames. Machiavelli, he wasn't a devil as they called him, he was a mirror to human behavior. To protect your mind, don't close it, open it, consciously. And always ask yourself, is this truly my thought, or was it planted inside me?